fucking
This has been a long journey to bring this, and we're here on this other side of it. What is it like now and seeing the episodes with a wonderful, enthusiastic crowd?
It's very special, I think. First of all, thank you so much for having me, for being here, spending your Saturday with us. It's nice to be at this place. When you do TV, you think you're gonna miss this, right? But I'm glad this is happening because the way we work on this show, it's pretty much the way we approach work in the films we've done. You know, none of us, and I'm talking about from Kathleen Kennedy, Tony, myself, many of the actors here, Helen. I mean, many of the designers and people working behind the camera. We do films, and we are starting to work in this new format, this long format of storytelling that series and TV are bringing. But it's kind of nice to give ourselves the opportunity to watch it with the community that cinema brings, and to watch it on the big screen. It's a reminder that we did right, we were paying attention of every step of the process, the way we do film. And this is a beautiful way to end, the process by watching it like we watch films. I love this place. It's special to be here, this cinema.
Yes.
I was a member here.
Yeah.
I stopped paying, so. But I was a member, and I used to come here and spend a lot of my time in this theater. So,
Yeah.
So it's cool to be here.
Yes.
We should definitely.
Mama
I've
talking.
seen
Yeah.
films here, and like the projection is so wonderful. This is a beautiful gift, to have a cinema like this one. Yeah.
I think it's kind of magical that you've had so much time with this character, but also the journey to get to this side where people are very invested in this show for a very good reason. What is it like? I mean, were there days kind of on the ups and downs where you kind of never thought you would maybe finish it, or did you always have faith that you were going to get to the end? There were a lot of delays. We had COVID, we had the strikes.
Yes, I mean, it was never easy. It was never easy. The whole process was a challenge from the beginning. When we decided to do this show, and we were like very responsible, and we thought we could do 5 seasons. At the very beginning, we said, yeah, of course. The first one will take long, but then we'll get it right, and we'll manage to squeeze 5 seasons of this in our lives. It was like the first season took 2 years and a half of our time. Just making numbers, it was like, it's gonna be 15 years. I'm gonna be 60 years old. Faster. But that's the way to get to that age, no? Pretending you're still 30. It was very interesting, a very interesting process, because yes, we were one of the first shows that went and shot while COVID was at its peak, So we spent a lot of time and energy just taking care of the crew and making sure it could happen. We were living in lockdown, but able to work. So in one hand, it felt amazing that we had the opportunity to keep doing what we loved under those circumstances, and while so many people were not being able to do what they loved. We had that beautiful gift of actually going to work. But at the same time, everything about filming and shooting is collaborating. It's about the exchange, and we were not allowed to live it that way. It was complicated. But I remember we were allowed to go to Scotland to shoot Aldani in the first season, and Tony was there, and we were at this little hotel in Pitlochry having scotch and talking about how impossible it was going to be to do 5 seasons. And he went like, let's find a way. Let's find a way. We were shooting in blocks. It was 4 blocks. We had 4 seasons to go, 4 years to cover. And he said, what if each block is a year? And he came up with this amazing idea of having these time jumps in this second season in order for us to deliver what we promised, which was getting to the end, getting to the moment where they go to Rogue One. For us, and watching it now, like that scene with when Biggs is talking about the future, and you know what the future is, we wanted to get there. We really wanted to cover that whole arc of these characters and let Cassian go to Rogue One the way we do in the 12th episode.
How do you operate as an executive producer on this? Because you're very seasoned in making your own things as well. Can you talk a little bit about what you like doing as an executive producer? And I'm wondering if you wear different hats and you separate the two. Like, sometimes you're executive producer, Diego, and sometimes you're just actor, Diego. Or how that works.
I've been always a very curious and how do you say metiche? Like, what? Nosy actor. So it's easier to call me a producer.
It sounds better in Spanish.
No, it's just, I don't know, as an actor, I'm always like, I always say what I think. I'm always there hoping, questioning things, make the process better for everyone and the result better and richer. But when actors get to set, most of the time it's too late, to question things. Sure. Things are happening. You are there, and you have to execute. And things. So I love the idea of being able to raise my voice, question things, give my opinion when it's time, when something can actually come out of that. From the moment I was invited, it was clear that I had to get involved as a producer. I received a call. I was 8 years ago, saying, would you consider, just exploring the possibility of actually telling the story of Cassian before Rogue One? And I said yes, but it was a long process. There was many different approaches that we ended up like throwing away till we got to Tony Gilroy and he pitched his perspective. For me, the whole production, and it's a very complicated show, and we do these 4 blocks, which is basically shooting 4 films, because each block is like an hour and 40 minutes. So it's four films. No, it's 2 hours. What did I say? It's 2 hours. So things start and they don't stop. So there's one producer that is Kathleen Kennedy that puts everything there, for things to happen, that follows that first idea, that gets people together, and then gives you the tools and the freedom in this case to execute and go out there and follow the lead of Tony, who's the next producer, the guy who writes everything, the vision we are all following. Yeah. Then you have Sana, who's the one that is in charge of putting together the whole machine and make sure it works, and that everything moves towards the same direction, And then I found that my place as a producer was to be the eyes on set. You're the one who's every day there. You're the one that from set can spot things that no one sees from the top, or And Tony, while we are shooting, Tony is either writing or in post-production or in pre-production of the next block, So you are the one on set also that can translate what that voice is, what that perspective that we are all supposed to follow is. There's a lot of day players, there's directors come for just one block. So it's cool to understand that you're there to keep some kind of balance. At the end, I understand that producing is helping someone's vision to get as far as possible. That's what a producer does, and it's not the same as an actor. So a lot of times I had to like try to unplug and just concentrate in saying words like Starbuck unit.
I think it worked out well.
Yeah.
You mentioned Tony.
5 years.
Yeah. Tony, in my impression of watching him kind of talk about this, he seems kind of like the most joyfully reluctant Star Wars maker of Star Wars things, because he'll joke about how many meetings they had about the type of dog creature that appears in the show, and just sort of those kind of things where he'd rather be writing. Can you talk about like a favorite Tony-ism or something you kind of loved watching him do or work out? Because obviously it's worked, right? You know, it took a while to get here, but.
Yes, he always finds a referent, you know, of our like, our context, you know, to explain everything. He always does. I'm not gonna tell you any because I'll ruin the experience, you know. Yes, each of you now went through the same process. You know, that's the beauty of science fiction. You see something and you can't stop trying to find how that connects with your universe, your life, your context, the history of that you know. I think, yeah. Sorry, I went somewhere else. I just think it was fascinating to see these episodes today. You know, they mean something different than the last time, like 4 months ago, that I saw them. When I read them 3 years ago or 2 years ago, they meant something else. You know, and that's the wonderful thing that happens with Tony Gilroy, because he really pays attention to everything. There is an answer for everything, and when there's all those layers, you know, that richness translates, and then you take it and you make it yours. I think Tony, you know, the one wonderful thing about Tony as a producer is that he understands collaboration like no one else. You know? There's so many ways to lead it, and the one he chooses is, to me, the smartest and the richest. You know, for those who live the experience. I'll tell you, like Tony, before he even writes, he sits down with the production designer, and they start to talk about where things are going to happen and what triggers, you know, all the events, you know. So when we see Gorman, when we see that plaza, the amount of time they spend thinking how, like, the plaza was gonna be, and how all the action plays, and what can you see from this perspective and this other, what's the distance from here to here, therefore how much time would you have for something to happen while a character is running from here to there. Like, all of that is well thought, and he does it with someone else, you know, that then takes that design and shares it with a bigger team. And so when you get to the set, it feels like you all participated on the writing, you know, that your perspective is considered. The way he makes you feel part of his project, of his show, because this is his show, I would say, the way you feel part of it, you feel that you are creating with him, is very special and unique. It's so special that everyone came back for the second season, you know, like all the team decided to be here for this second season because of that, because there's a belonging, a feeling of belonging that you normally don't have.
Yeah, so many ways he and you all make moments for everyone to shine too, even like small little bit characters. I want to just kind of drill down on 208 a little bit, because you and Kyle, I'm assuming Kyle is not like his character in real life.
He's
Kyle
the same.
Kyle
I have no idea. He never blinks. He's never blinked in his life.
Kyle plays here.
What about that? Have you noticed? There are long shots of his like this, and yeah.
How many days the fight sequence between the two of you? That seems like it probably took a while.
Again, same thing, collaboration. There's a guy called Mark Melly, who's the stunt coordinator. guy that, a storyteller. I mean, he sits down and designs fights, not because this looks cool or because this. In fact, there's nothing cool about that fight. I mean, it's incredibly like and real. You know, you have a feeling that is actually the way you would respond to something like that. But I think we did like 4 choreographies or 3 at least before we got to this one, you know. And there was a whole process on like how is it gonna be? How trained is this character versus the other? You know, what is Cyril fighting for? For me, like I'm not gonna tell you the story, but one day I was attacked by a cat.
While filming or just in life?
No, before. I'm not gonna go through the whole thing, but I remember telling in one of those sessions we had, we were in the second choreography, and I remember telling Mark, this reminds me of that, you know. I don't think like these 2 guys would fight. I mean, one is a soldier, you know, and he has a lot of training at this point, you know. Cassian has a lot of training, so I was like, but it reminds me that day that the cat was attacking in my back. And I couldn't get to him, and when I got to him and get rid of him, the cat came back. You know, he just kept coming back and back, and like.
This is your producer at work, like bringing the real life experience into the work.
And I remember Mark was like, yeah, we have to do that. I was watching it right now, and you go like, yes, nothing's gonna stop that guy. It doesn't matter how many times you hit him, it doesn't matter what happens, he's always gonna come back because there's something there, you know. And the line, who are you? I mean, come on, that's Tony Gilroy. I remember, I mean, there was a lot of discussions about that line, and should we do it live, should we do it should be a look or not? Like, I remember going to set and receiving a phone call from Tony saying, you better do that line. Just do it right, you know? And it's such an important, it summarizes everything, you know? I mean, these guys like coming out of like a trance, like or something, you know, a dream, you know. Suddenly he's realizing, shit, what I've been part of. And then this guy he's been following for how many episodes? 20. Just goes like, who are you? I mean, no way we are here like solving issues in a galaxy. Can we just like get out of the way?
We can always channel an episode too.
That I don't remember. No, later. It was later. But I think it's. I mean, jokes aside, it is one of the things that I think makes this show special, which is like you get to see all those lives in both sides of this equation, you know, without judgment, of people that no one will remember their names, you know, and that are indispensable for something to happen, for change to come, or for, you know, and Cyril is I mean, it's quite a compliment to the writing of Tony that you end up like feeling so much for him. You know, he's like, oh shit, it's another victim of this horrendous, authoritarian.
Do you, when you finish those 5 days, is it just like go take a?
It was 3 days of shooting. It was 3 days of shooting, like hours of physiotherapy, like there on set. Also, we shoot in England, and cold, freezing. And they managed to, every time we're on set, it's January. I don't know how. You know, because April is beautiful. And now it's always, and you know, and it's always around 6 a.m. that you are meant to be rehearsing, you know. And the other beautiful thing about Mark Melly is that he gives you the tools to do it yourself, you know. I mean, there's obviously stunts, and I work with Martin, who's like big man, and he's amazing, and I work with him for the 2 seasons. He does everything for Cassian and many other characters. But the idea of this fight, at least, is that we managed to get to the end, you know, ourselves. There was a few shots that obviously it's not us, and mostly falling is something very difficult to do. Well, it's very easy, but it's very easy to learn. But the thing is, yeah, the idea was to try to get there ourselves, you know. So we worked really, really hard, and yeah, a lot of bruises. But Kyle is just such a wonderful, you know, partner, and it was fun, and we were so proud at the end of what we managed to do, you know.
That's great.
Yeah.
Scott, do your own
No, I didn't say that. There's like, I do my own stunts. That's not true. Like the actual, the very dangerous stuff. There's an specialist, and he's amazing. Again, I don't want anyone to get it wrong. Without Martin, these 2 seasons would have been a lot more of Cassian talking.
Very proud of what you've got to do.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah.
I want to quickly touch on 209 because again, we don't have a ton of time because you guys are maybe going to watch another piece of wonderful.
Oh, you're gonna see me.
Yes, we're going to get that. I'm working with Genevieve O'Reilly. You guys, you did. I mean, I feel like
Yeah.
talk a little bit about kind of.
Finally,
Yeah.
finally, we get to interact together.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, it comes from Rogue One. You know, we know each other for a long time, and we waited long for this episode 9 to happen and to get to play together. And it's a one. I think these 2 episodes are wonderful because they basically show why I think this show is different and special and unique, and to me it's when you understand how like the social climate and the political climate have to, you know, interact in a way for a rebellion like this one to erupt, and I think that speech she does and that whole sequence is so powerful, and we did it by pieces, you know, because we shot in Valencia at this gigantic, huge building of Calatravas that is in Valencia, an arts center, and but she had to shoot the speech by herself, you know, because that's the only part is not like mechanical or a set. Like most of the series, it's sets that we build, you know, and we shot like old-fashioned, like not much was like computer generated. Basically, you are interacting with things, and you are in the place, and and it's not just the props, but the sets and the costumes and everything's there for you to react to the droids, the creatures, you know, like it's amazing. It's so much fun. Yeah. But anyway, that whole scene was very, very special because they say very little and a lot is happening, and it is the actual beginning and the awakening of both of them, you know. It was special.
Yeah. Is there something that surprises you? Because you are in a lot of the show, right? You're in a lot of these scenes, but some scenes you aren't.
Oh, yeah.
When you see the finished product, is there something that is a really pleasant surprise? Obviously, some of the effects get finished, but is there a certain scene stealer or one of your fellow cast members that sort of dazzles you when you saw the finished show?
I mean, I keep saying this, and I am gonna repeat it. I think Andor is an excuse, you know, to actually get to meet the community, and it's as an ensemble piece as it can be. It's so rich, you know, and every character has a moment and has the opportunity to show you intimate moments and every layer, you know. This long format allows us to actually explore characters like Rogue One couldn't. You know? For me, Rogue One is a
We have the 5-minute warning, so they're going to get on the heavy.
No, I think they listen to this many times. It's my family saying, oh, this is going to go. About the long format. But it's true, like, I mean, on a way, I remember talking to many people saying, like, damn, I care so much about those characters. Who are they? You know, after Rogue One. You know, and Rogue One is a film about an event. You know, but you don't get to go deep on who they are and why are they risking and sacrificing everything for the cause. What's behind that sacrifice? You know, and this show shows you that and more. You know, because it has that patience of actually telling you not just who Cyril is, who his mom is, and what it could be to have mom at home, you know, and you have that with every character. You get to meet Biggs profoundly, you get to meet Mon profoundly, you get to as an actor watching the full episode, it's a wonderful reminder of what you're part of, you know. I say there is not a single actor here that didn't got the best out of what the material brought, you know. And that's what happens when you have great material in front. Suddenly, the best acting comes out of you. There's, you know, and there is a team, you know. It's us doing something in community. We're all inspired by what others are doing. I don't know. I think I'm so not just proud. I feel so fortunate that I was able to be part of this show because of what I witnessed. You know, the process of many actors, the process of many designers, the process of Tony Gilroy, and the process of also of audiences.
Yeah,
you know?
because each week you got to see people. Well, you got to see in bulk. You got to see people react.
Yeah, and you have now the tools to listen and to hear what people have to say about the show, and realizing that you guys were celebrating the show basically for the same reasons I decided to do it. You know, that we are all here for the same reasons. That is something very special and doesn't happen often. And I talked to we were in London, I remember, and I was standing before going out into an event like this with a few members of the cast, and I was next to Kathleen, and I said, Kathy, you know, I probably act, or I probably do cinema, because now I act for other reasons, but I do cinema for people like Stellan, you know, because I could witness what he was capable of, you know, myself as audience and him as an actor. And here I am, you know, not just working with him, but working in something that gives me the opportunity to actually play with him at an horizontal level, you know. Everyone, the guy at the hotel, he's just there for that, but he's so rich, and that the moments he's on screen, they're so rich. Everyone has that opportunity, and the generosity of the writing of Tony Gilroy is exactly that, you know. No one's there just to trigger something.
Yeah.
There is a reason for you to be there, and there's something your character delivers, and that enriches the whole story, you know, the whole journey.
Yeah. I think we can all agree there's something very special about Andor, yes? You're about to see another really lovely performance. I feel like
Lovely? Lovely is the word. I haven't seen it in a long time, probably changed through the years.
At the start, in the beginning, he's like the most fun guy you would ever want to be.
I don't want to ruin it because I don't know if they've seen it or not.
Okay, we're going to talk about milk for just a hot second because it's so very special. Who hasn't seen it that's going to say? Oh, see, yay.
A lot of people.
Yes.
That's amazing. That's cool.
You just talked just briefly kind of, that we can introduce it as we kind of leave, just so people know about that experience for you. Because again, this is a really fun character. He's like the most fun person you want to have around. To start.
Oh my God! I really want to. I don't know if I want to go to your parties. No. I mean, I love. I learned to love Jack profoundly. I haven't seen the film in ages, and when they said like, "What would you think it's important and it would be cool to screen?" And this came to my mind, because I said like
Because where were you in your career when you took this?
No, I'm just looking for the word. I know what I want to say, but it's the English. It's just no, but yes, en español lo voy a decir, pero no, muchas gracias. No, what I was gonna say is that somehow it connects beautifully with Andor. It's about community. It's about raising your voice. This is about the world we live in. This is a beautiful reminder of how important it is to understand the richness that diversity brings, the importance of respect, the importance of understanding, empathy. It's a beautiful reminder today. And it's about politics, and not about politics in a galaxy far, far away. It's not about politics in this state, and I think it's time to the way you want, but it is time to get involved. And this is a film about people that we